Building the slack to your day. This morning I was working away. I had a couple of firm things in, a couple of appointments in. And what I do as part of my day, this is my book, right? So this is my planner. So effectively, I just write a load of notes about things that I need to kind of do, right? So thoughts are in there, just everything like that kind of stuff. So my thoughts are in there, what I've got to work through today and so forth. Build in the slack. So I've got a couple of appointments today online, doing Zooms like this. And then the rest was just like allowing the day to unfold. Now, here's the thing. I get a phone call at, what time was it? About 11 o'clock. And it was my mum. She says to me, Brad, can we go to the hospital? Why? What's happened, Mum? I fell over. When did you fall over, Mum? 2 weeks ago. So anyway, bottom line is she never told anyone. And that's what mums do. Don't want to cause a fuss. And the bottom line was I went to the hospital with her and she's fine. All right. So we got tested. She's fine. She's got a bruise and so forth and she's got to take some tablets. Now, if the old Brad would have had no slack whatsoever, in that I would have been like literally like I swear to the minute some of my appointments, to the minute. So you'd be like, I don't know, 7:13. And then pick another call up at 7:17. It was just like wild. And I look at it and I thought I was being double efficient. I actually thought I was being double efficient. Crazy. And if you are being busy, you're doing it wrong. So here's the thing, build in slack to your day. It's not just about your business day, it's about your life. Because what we end up doing is we end up filling every single bit of space in our life. Interestingly, when I drove to my mum's before, I didn't have the radio on. Right now, the old Brad would have had the radio on, not allowing myself to do any thinking. I'd have been listening to the radio, listening to songs, listening to drum and bass, listening to Radio 4, listening to LBC. I'd have just been busy all day, listening, more information going in the top. And there comes a point when you can't handle any more information. And this is why burnout ends up happening, because we've not built in the slack to our day. And this applies not only think about building in the slack, what I've been talking to as part of this whole thing about this system, doing a video every single day of of January, is this. And I reckon we're going to be doing more than this, by the way. Can I just say, I've really enjoyed this. After the initial bit of like, oh, camera, I can't look in there, like Stevie Wonder, not looking at the lens, I'm actually really enjoying it, which is good. And it just shows you that the more you do something that's difficult at first, one day you wake up and it's not as difficult. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, building the slack, right? And the whole thing about this system thing that I'm talking about is about not only business, right? It's about getting that whole thing mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, and physically. Build in the slack. So you just think about those 5 things that I just said right now. Right? Emotionally. Have you got any kind of slack in your brain emotionally right now? Or are you already like... Because think about it. If you're already topped off, somebody does something, you start snapping at the kids or you start... Do you see what I'm saying? Or your partner. So you've got to build in the slack. So that's like mentally. Emotionally. What's going on there? Do you have any kind of buffer emotionally? Spiritually, right? I'm not getting all like I say religious, but in the most, are you kind of have you give yourself some slack there? Physically, have you got any slack there? And what I mean by that is, are you overweight? I was 3 stone or 3.5 stone overweight. That meant I had no slack. That meant that if I wanted to go out for a nice curry, I'd be causing myself even more problems on top of the additional problems that I'd already had, which is crazy. So right now, I've lowered my weight. My weight's the lowest it can be. The lowest I've been in 25 years. If I want to go and have a curry, I will go and, I'm talking 6 poppadoms, starters, 2 sides, and even desserts. Boom. So you see what I'm saying? There's a bit of slack there. But what ends up happening is you don't put any slack in there, and now all of a sudden, you're already on danger zone. And it's like, oh, I've gone too far with this. So what's the point? I might as well. And that's when you get yourself in a mess as well. So think about the slack that you've got to do from a physical perspective. What's the last one? Financial slack. I think it was really interesting period in that, I had financial slack all buttoned off. And then COVID comes along and all of a sudden that financial slack that you once had is not as prevalent as you once had. So this is an interesting time right now. And I would say to you, based on what's happened today, which was a really cool thing that kind of popped off, I say cool. I'm glad we addressed it, because this is the thing, pebbles in shoes don't magic the way out. And actually it goes back down to what I said. I talked yesterday about why would somebody hide a zombie bite? And in this case, my mum, bless her, did it for all the right reasons. If she didn't want to be a pain, she didn't want to put pressure. Do you see what I'm saying? But sometimes you've got to, dare I say it, sounds like the 4 tops, reach out to someone right now that actually you need support from. Get that slack in your life. Get that slack in your world. Get that slack in your mental state, emotional, physical, spiritual, financial. Get that slack, however you've got to do it. And what I mean by that, it doesn't necessarily mean about earning money. It might be that you've got somewhere along the way, get some slack by saving money or by lowering your costs. I've no idea. You've got to make that decision, because it is down to your decisions. It is fundamentally down to your decisions, and you've got to hold your nerve. Hold your nerve and recognize this, that right now, this is what I say to my team. When we start making changes, Network Central, my business networking organization, would love to see you there. When we start making changes, networkcentral.biz, right? When we start making changes in that business, you can go and do something today, and it might take 2 or 3 weeks for that impact to be felt. So from your perspective, building in the slack, you end up with a situation where, I go back to the physical thing. If maybe you've been overeating, which is what I was doing during the lockdown, the original one. What we end up doing is we end up joining the gym, and we think that the joining the gym is where the change happens, and it's like no pain, no gain. That's what people say. And actually, it's not joining the gym that's the pain. It's the going to the gym 4 times a week. That's where the real pain and the changes happen. But a lot of people, what they do, they want to build in the slack, and they say, "Yeah, I'm building the slack," but you're not really building the slack in. You're not really making that, making the painful changes that you need to. You might be saying you are, but you're not. I've had to make lots of painful changes in my life and in my world, not only recently, but more often when I look back at some of the changes that I've made. But if I didn't make those painful changes, when I did, those painful changes would have been more painful. And I think that, think about what I always say when I'm speaking. This whole thing is about every single decision that you've ever made in your life has brought you to this video today. Think about it. And every single decision I've ever made, I'm talking to you. And I talked the other day, which is about building, it's about contentment, about what success is. I believe that success is contentment. Success, I believe, is contentment. And the way that you're going to get contentment and the way you're going to find your success is by building in the slack. If right now you're being flat out and you're hustling and you're grinding and you're 6 a.m. club, 5 a.m. club, 4 a.m. club on social media, you're doing it wrong. All right, people, until next time, I'm enjoying this and I hope you are. Do me a favor, like, share and subscribe. So you have to think about that then. But please like, share and subscribe and tell a friend and tag a friend and just help me get this thing moving out there. This message needs to be heard. I think right now, more than ever before, I think this new world that we're entering into, I think the old world is gone. I think the old world is, dare I say, dead. This new world, it requires new thinking, and it requires people like you and me to build in the slack. Have an amazing evening. Cheers.